Is Gen V better than The Boys? Following up on a shocker, like The Boys may come with its own set of challenges. Alas, many spin-offs have failed to find their own identity in the dust storm left behind by their parent series. There are sequel shows that have tried to capitalize on the legacy left by their predecessors and act as mere extensions to a story that has already been told. And then there are spin-offs that, while staying tethered to previously established lore, still find their own footing. Along the lines of successful recent examples like Better Call Saul, there's a clear attempt being made by Eric Kripke and co-showrunners Michelle Fazekas and Tara Butters to ensure The Boys spin-off Gen V remains connected strongly to its parent show, while not becoming too diluted in its own right. With more than half of Season 1 out for fans to enjoy, and a second season recently confirmed by Prime Video, Gen V has demonstrated ample evidence for why it is actually better than The Boys, but it still stays loyal to what makes the latter good. There's no argument for the fact that Gen V may not have worked as well had its creators attempted something so completely detached from the world of its predecessor. From the shocking cocksplosion scene to the Black Noir Buster Beaver callback, Gen V keeps using the best parts of The Boys and twists them with perfection, walking into familiar yet stranger territory with the remaining pieces. In the show's most recent episode, Welcome to the Monster Club, Sam's puppet slaughter takes the Buster Beaver incident from The Boys and employs it in a playful yet darkly brutal fashion. Off the top, it's tough to not be interested in the setting of a college for Soups. The setup in itself provides ample opportunity for conflict at a place where jealousy, politics, and romance thrive among teenage students with unhinged power. Credit must go to Gen V for tackling the various challenges in the lives of college students, whether they happen to be Soups or not. Andrew's father, Polarity, himself an alum of Godalming University, constantly seems to pressure his son to outperform his classmates. Emma's personal struggle stems from her low self-esteem. Jordan's insecurities initially bring them into conflict with Marie, especially given the complicated circumstances surrounding Golden Boy's death at the beginning of the season. Consequently, the conflict in action feels significantly more layered in Gen V than The Boys. When comparing the termite explosion scene from The Boys Season 3 with the cocksplosion scene in Episode 4 of Gen V, the latter beautifully adds more layers to the entire debacle. The same can also be said about Emma's shocking scene in the opening episode of Gen V Season 1, where she can be seen shrinking down in size to fulfill her date's weird fetish. While the act in itself is a boost for Liam's ego, it symbolizes Emma's insecurities with her own image. One more sphere where Gen V bests The Boys easily is the story built up on brewing suspense. To be fair, The Boys has its fair share of thrilling highs when the most unbelievable things transpire. But in the larger scheme of things, the eventual end goal of The Boys storyline occupies itself with the how rather than the what. Even 5 episodes in, Gen V does not seem to have lifted the veil from its central mystery. With a group of college friends at the center and danger lingering around every corner, there's plenty to keep viewers tuning in. At this point in the show, there are quite a few questions that have been kept under wraps by Gen V, with the latest being Kate's real motivation behind her actions. Solely based on the way the plot has unfolded, Gen V has a more compelling storyline, but it may be a matter of time before we see whether the spin-off makes the payoff equally worthwhile. While all the differences between the two shows do enough to make the spin-off stand in its own lane, the biggest improvement that makes Gen V more exciting than The Boys is how it manages to amp up everything good about The Boys without losing the novelty in the concept. Throughout Gen V's episodes, the series has constantly dropped references from The Boys while avoiding the risk of repetition and redundancy. This is why creative decisions, such as the callback to the Buster Beaver scene from Season 3 of The Boys, feel refreshing and innovative when applied in the context of new characters. Gen V is more raunchy, more gory, and even more unpredictable than The Boys, which in itself is as crazy as it gets on most occasions. In essence, Gen V feels like The Boys, but on a higher, more potent dosage of Compound V. New episodes of Gen V Season 1 premiere Fridays on Prime Video. A premiere date for Season 2 has yet to be announced.